The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2024 early summer edition of The Local Show. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my good friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. The Local Show features conversations about local businesses. We talk about the business owners, and we actually talk to them. Steve talks about them. We even interview CEOs and CFOs, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business advocates, and other business-friendly organizations, and those desperate enough to come on the show. We learn how they got into business and why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, where their businesses might be going in the future. You're going to hear all about their successes, challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts and YouTube. And if you'd like to be a sponsor of the show, just contact Steve at Zoey Advertising. Steve at Zoey Advertising. It's that simple.
Yeah. Or if you have some ideas, you want to hear from other people. Maybe there's businesses or organizations like, hey, can you get so-and-so on? We get emails. Well, we get stuff about every week. So that's a great way to reach out to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to Steve.
Or Tom. Did you notice, did you feel that Tom's deflecting that to me?
Yes.
Okay. This is where Tom says, it is your show. Go ahead, Tom.
It is your show.
There we go. There. Okay, good. I feel like I'm in the right studio right now. There we go.
You embody the, this is your circus and your monkeys. My monkeys are dead. Yeah. Anyway, hey, look, we've got a great show for you, Steve. So you stick around because, I want to hear your banter back and forth. It's Cory Reed's coming up, General Manager of Brewerton and Fulton Speedways. We've got Neil Carr today, Vice President of Prime Heating and Air. Jonathan Norton is the co-founder of My Town Construction. And then Charlie Van Patten stops by, owner of Mattress Makers, Danny Liedtke. I know Danny.
Yes.
I don't know from where.
Visit Syracuse, I imagine.
No, that's not it. But he is the president of Visit Syracuse. Jacob Eichten is the general manager of Rubberstone, New York. And then Dr. Nicole Grassi is the owner of Lumine Dental Aesthetics. Mario D'Imperio is the owner of Mario's Italian Bakery, and we'll have a conversation with him as well. Right now we say, hey, how you doing there, to Cory Reed. How are you, man?
All right. Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah.
The funny thing is the common denominator there, I'm none of the above. Yeah, right. You introduce everybody as CEOs and vice presidents and all that.
I have your title.
Not that.
I have title as best boy.
Best boy.
It says here
boy Friday or whatever, But
you're the guy at Brewerton and at the other one, Fulton.
Yeah.
You're the go-to person. Let's be honest.
Yeah. I'm thankful that my boss, my owner, puts so much trust and faith in me too.
Who does own it now?
John White, who owns Gypsum Express, Gypsum Wholesalers, Big Red Towing, has owned it for 14, 15 years, something like that now. Yeah. So
is he a racer himself?
Yeah, his family.
Is it true that 9 out of 10 cars that race there are his?
No, not anymore. At one point, maybe.
They used to show up with a lot of cars.
Yeah, they used to. He's pared it down to just his son, Larry. Larry owns it, runs it.
Because that wouldn't be very competitive if you own the track and you have all the cars on the track.
It was always a little blown out of proportion, but there was always 3 or 4 that had some support from him. Yeah. But as he's gone on, as he's gotten more focused on the race track component, he's focused a little less on the race car component. And really, Larry's, it's blood. So ultimately, that's where you want to put your focus.
No, and why wouldn't you? That makes sense. I don't know that owning the track makes you more competitive. You know what? Same rules apply, same track, same kind of cars, same restrictions.
Yes,
right?
yes.
You just gotta, maybe you can run some laps on a Wednesday afternoon where no one else can, but other than that.
Right. Which we don't really do. Everybody thinks he does, but he doesn't. It's every Friday night or every Saturday night, and that's pretty much the only thing that goes
Friday
on.
at Brewerton.
Yes.
What time?
We race at 7 o'clock every Friday night from now till Labor Day.
In what races at 7 o'clock?
What races?
Yeah, what races?
Our headline class is our big block modifieds, which has been the big block, has been the headliner around here for decades and decades and decades. So we're one of the premier dirt track, big block modified tracks in the state of New York. Friday nights, we actually have huge field too lately. The last 2 years have been pretty much an epic level of cars.
Really?
We used to be 18, 20, 22, and that was pretty acceptable. Now we're at 30. Last week we had 32.
How many can race at once?
We start 26 in our feature event. We'll run qualifying races and then a 26-car main event each and every Friday.
That's big.
So
a lot of noise.
We hate sending people home, but we are, which is a really good problem to have as a promoter. So,
wow. What other kinds of cars?
We also run like a limited type modified. We call Sportsman modified, which run on GM crate engines. That's a big deal for us. A lot of numbers.
Right.
And then we have a mod light class, which is really just a mini mod, a shrunken down modified. And then we have a full fender, like a 4-cylinder class, which actually has been a struggle for us for years, but the last couple of years has really picked up too.
So are those are like cars that people screw together in their driveway and bring over?
Shade tree people, I call them. But they take pride in what they're doing, especially this year. I'm very impressed with what they've brought out to start the year. We've only had a few races so far, but they've really some beautiful stuff.
How about the sprint cars? You bring them back at all?
Yep, they come 3 or 4 times a year at each track. Usually we pair them up and run them at Fulton and Brewerton the same weekend most of the time.
Those can be fun. What kind of motor is in a sprint car?
The ones we have are 360 cubic inch. There's also a 410 cubic inch, but ours are 360s, ESS or Empire Super Sprint.
That's a big motor.
Yeah, and they fly.
Yeah.
But how fast can you go when you can only go 800 feet and have to turn?
Right.
Right.
It's actually fun. That's an age old argument in the sport. We're going to go faster. Well, as a promoter, we actually like it when they go a little slower from a safety perspective, but also competitive nature. When more cars are a little bit slower, they tend to run closer together, which makes the racing better, which then makes the speed relative. So I always laugh. Oh, he broke the track record. I don't care that he broke the track record. It doesn't matter to me.
I was thinking about you the other day. I knew that we had this interview coming up, and sure enough, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby comes on Talladega Nights.
There we go.
One of my favorite racing movies.
Oh, absolutely.
Is that pretty accurate as to how life is done around you?
To some level,
is it that funny?
It's to some level, it certainly is.
So when does the electric car racing series start?
Hopefully never.
Do people talk about that much in your circles?
Not really. Pretty much we turn a blind eye
to it.
Yeah, it's not really something we're interested in at this point.
A lot of families coming. I mean, is it, am I wrong, or is it Americana? Has it not changed really all that much in 50 years? When I was a kid and going to the races, there were favorites, there were locals, there was the guy with the garage, there was cheap beer and greasy food. Has it changed?
It pretty much the same thing. Pretty much exactly the same thing. The only thing we like to have a better handle on is maybe limit the amount of fighting or something like that.
Is there fighting? Among who? The drivers or in the stands?
Not really. Stands never, unless we have a demo derby like we had last week at Fulton. But then once in a while you might see a skirmish. But there's disagreements more than fights.
Right.
And that's something I think that's curbed. I mean, you look at the NASCAR last weekend and the amount of attention that has drawn.
Right.
To some level, it's good. But what they make it social and they make it national, and the video. If that happened without video, NASCAR would be like, you shouldn't have done that.
I mean, everybody hates Kyle Busch. He got hit. It just became interesting.
It became interesting.
So Friday nights at Brewerton, Brewerton, and then we go up to Fulton Saturday night. Starts at what time?
7:00 as well.
You don't need reservations. Walk in, get some tickets.
Yep, tickets are at the gate, and you just come in. Kids are free, 18 and younger.
Fantastic.
That's huge.
Well, thank you. Cory Reed, General Manager of Brewerton Speedway and the Fulton Speedway. And thank you for all you do and, bringing us all that entertainment.
All right. Thanks a lot for having me on, guys.
You got it. Neil Carr is coming up next. He's the Vice President of Prime Heating and Air. We'll have a conversation with him. Stick around on the local show on 570 WSYR.